Hello and welcome back to the AI Advantage. In episode 1, we explored why AI Advantage comes from continuous learning, not tools. In episode 2, we discussed how AI should reshape strategy and not simply follow it. And today we're going to talk about how to operate differently, because strategy without the right operating model does not translate into reality or value. My name is Tom Dissing. I'm the founder of Technology Connect, a Sydney, Australia-based consulting organization. We help companies drive business value using AI. And today I'm joined again with my friend and colleague, Martin Stubbs-Race, who also is an AI expert helping companies drive business value through AI.
Yeah,
Welcome,
thanks,
Martin.
Tom. Yeah, no, it's good to be back here. Episode 3 already. So, and we continue to dig deeper into this. So let's get stuck into the operating model. And you're talking about these operating models. We need to look at them because they actually matter more than the AI models themselves.
Yeah, that's right. Most organizations try to plug AI into yesterday's or the current state operating model, and they keep the same structure, roles, workflows, approvals, governance, and hope that AI will create this step change improvement.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't work that way. AI doesn't work that way. So to benefit from AI, the organization's system of work needs to change.
And so there's quite a challenge there in terms of, again, it's not the technology, it's the organizational design that you're looking at.
Yeah, traditional operating models assume more of a stable workflow, fixed roles, centralized decision making, periodic improvement cycles. AI introduces continuous learning and adaptive workflows, distributed decision making. So if the operating model can't absorb that pace, results such as revenue simply flatline.
And we're all very comfortable with the kind of where we are today traditionally. We now need to look at, well, how do we change the operating model, for this new AI-enabled organization? And again, we're coming back to, we've been talking about the AI studio and the AI factory. So maybe we need to dig into that and what can we learn from that engine?
Yes, the AI studio and the AI factory are absolutely fundamental in terms of driving competitive advantage or value out of AI or with AI. The AI studio is really where new value is discovered. It's built for experimentation, exploration, workflow redesign. Its purpose is learning velocity, not the scale. The studio ideates, it incubates, it prototypes quickly to identify what works in the organizational context.
And how do you typically participate in a studio?
The AI studio brings people from across the organization together. They bring it together in a pod or a squad, and it's business domain owners, it's business process owners, experts, it's data and AI practitioners, it's designers, workflow architects, it's multidisciplinary. It's a space that's focused on discovery, de-risking, building a minimal viable product or MVP, not accelerating and scaling production and execution.
Okay, so that's a look at how do we move that into an AI factory in order to scale?
The AI factory is what turns validated workflow patterns into repeatable, reliable, or an integrated operating capability. Its purpose is consistency and scale. Whereas the studio asks, how can this work? The factory asks, how do we make this work everywhere? Another way I like to say this is, how does this help us do more for more with less?
Yeah. And so together these two create a continuous flow of innovation.
This is the real compounding effect of this new operating model, where you see that the studio identifies and de-risks new workflows. And when I say workflows, it can be products, it can be product features, it can be even ventures for that matter as well, or even entire value chains. It's probably a bit much for something that big, but workflows in general. So the studio identifies and de-risks this and gives it to the factory. The factory scales what works. So it already works from the time it comes out of the studio. It scales that across teams, across the organization.
Yeah.
That scaled usage drives new data, new insights. That new insight and data is fed back into the studio that then takes that and improves the workflow and then passes that back into the factory
Yeah.
with something else typically, right? So now the next batch comes, but with another workflow as well. So suddenly you start to see this compounding effect that not only are you adding new workflows into the factory, but you are actually improving existing workflows at the same time.
Yeah, so that gives you that flywheel effect.
That's it.
So I guess we need some clarity around the roles and the governance that gets put around this.
Good governance is about clarity. It's about clarity more than control. Right? It's not really about control in this sense. Of course, there has to be guardrails.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say that.
Yeah.
But it's about clarity. It's about clarity at speed. We need clear answers to who selects workflows for redesign, who measures the value and the learnings, how are decisions made quickly without bureaucracy. Governance needs to enable speed, not restrict it.
And speed we've talked about before in terms of the pace at which this is going to operate, and that kind of pace is almost forced on us in order to be successful and kind of maintain our competitive edge. So it requires new rhythms of working, new operating rhythms.
Yes, it does. Look, an AI-enabled organization needs to move in much shorter structured cycles. So think 2 to 4 week sprints, monthly scaling reviews, quarterly operating model adjustments, and I did say quarterly here. And if you think about it, many organizations may not even change the operating model annually at this stage.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that you change your operating model, but you have to quarterly review this. Things are moving so fast now, and AI is completely changing how organizations can and will work. And to be competitive, you need to adjust that on a quarterly basis. So this is a culture of continuous evolution. This is very different to periodic transformation.
Yeah, it all sounds very challenging, right? Because, you know, we're very familiar with agile development, sprint teams and all that kind of stuff. And sort of how do you scale that? It's been quite challenging. But I think the exciting thing here is that AI can also help you with that problem. So how do organizations begin to rewire themselves for this?
As with any change, it's about keeping it simple, but there are 3 key shifts that needs to be undertaken within organizations. The first one is, I'd say, shift from approvals to empowerment. So making sure that decisions are moved to where work happens, where customers are, right? So to the front line, to the people that are live it day to day. It's moving from project team to product teams. So really focusing on what is it we are selling to customers? What is it someone buys from our organization? Not what projects have we got that we are working on that potentially adds up to changes. And it's moving away from this big bang change to continuous iteration. The reality is that in an AI era, improvements never stop. This is where culture and operating model meets.
They come together, yeah. So how do leaders listening to this get some practical guidance on where to start?
Keeping it simple to start off with. You can be more sophisticated as you improve in terms of maturity of the AI Studio and the AI Factory. I would say the first thing is to choose one workflow and a clear value lever that's going to change here. So whether that's cost or customer experience or risk, but make sure that there is a baseline to that. Make sure that you can measure it before and after, because this is where the real learning starts to come in. And this is all about continuous learning, remember.
And we talked about getting that measurement set up at the start so you know what you're heading for.
That's right. And I think that's where workflow versus use case is really important, right? Because if you start to think about a workflow, it's typically a cycle time thing. It's about speed to customer, speed to market. And it's very important to be able to demonstrate the value of these investments. So it's about redesigning those workflows, using generative AI, agentic AI, proving the uplift, then transition to the factory for scale. So I guess in summary, it's about start small, learn fast, scale what works.
So you're feeding that compounding flywheel over time.
Yes. So the AI advantage comes from the continuous learning, not the models that you choose. It comes from what and how the organization learns and scales. If listeners, if anyone reading about this, watching it, would like to know more about this and the thinkings around this, there's a link in the show notes here. You can contact us for a 30-minute consultation. You can go on the website as well. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please comment, like, subscribe. It helps reach more leaders and certainly helps us as well. So that's really how.
Yeah, look, let's keep the conversation going and sort of really looking forward to episode 4. We start to look at some of the real workflow redesign examples.
Yeah, so, great. Thanks, Mon.
Thanks.